For the first time in 28 years, this wasn't supposed to happen this easily.
He's through again! Norway are flying forward! The crowd can sense it now! This could change everything!
For almost 3 decades, Norway didn't just miss the World Cup, they missed it again and again and again, year after year, tournament after tournament. So why did one of football's most frustrating nations suddenly become one of the most dangerous? 28 years, the last time Norway played at the World Cup. Smartphones didn't exist. It wasn't because Norway had no talent. They have produced good players for decades. John Carew, John Arne Rice, Solskjaer played there before Man United made him famous. The problem was never one bad generation. The problem was that the talented Norwegian players kept showing one at a time. Never enough at once. Never in the right combination at the right moment. Norway became the nation everyone forgot to fear. Now look what happened in the 25 qualification. Norway won every single match. 8 games, 8 wins. They have scored 37 goals, more than any other team in Europe. They conceded just 5. But here's what the table doesn't show you. Their toughest opponent on paper was Italy, a team that has won the World Cup 4 times. Norway didn't just beat them. 7 goals won across both matches. A traditional superpower dismantled twice by a team that hadn't even made a World Cup since '98. This wasn't a lucky group, this was domination. You can't tell this story without Erling Haaland, because the numbers are almost embarrassing for everyone else. 16 goals in 8 qualifying matches, he scored in every single one of them. That tied the all-time European record for a single World Cup qualifying campaign, a record that belonged to Robert Lewandowski. And then, the World Cup itself started, and he didn't slow down. 2 goals against Iraq in this tournament debut, 2 more against Senegal a few days later. That makes him only the second player in 50 years to score multiple goals in each of his first 2 World Cup matches. The other one, Harry Kane, back in 2018. For years, people questioned whether Haaland could do this on the biggest stage, away from City, in a Norway shirt that hadn't seen a World Cup in his lifetime. He answered that question in under 30 minutes. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, smash the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. But let's keep going. But Haaland doesn't do this alone. Martin Odegaard set up more goals than anyone else in Norway qualifying campaign. 7 assists, 4 of them for Haaland himself. Odegaard is the one finding the gaps, the one who slows the game down when it needs. Captain of Arsenal, captain of Norway. This is a difference between a team with one great player and a team that is dangerous. Norway finally has both. So how rare is this, really? Norway have only ever qualified for the World Cup 4 times. It started in 38, yes, before the Second World War. They lost in the very first round, a straight knockout format back then, beaten by Italy, went on to win the whole tournament. Then nothing, decades of nothing. Norway didn't return until 94 in the United States. They beat Mexico in the tournament, but they still went out in the group stage, eliminated on goal difference. 2 appearances, 2 exits, still no real breakthrough. Then came 98. France. This is a tournament every Norwegian fan still talks about. Norway was drawn in the group with Brazil. They drew with Scotland, drew with Morocco. Going to their final group game, almost nobody outside Norway believed they had a chance against the Brazil side, full of Ronaldo, Rivaldo and Bebeto. Norway won 2-1. They came from behind to beat Brazil and advanced to the round of 16. Still, the best result in the country's World Cup history. Italy ended that run in the next round, but for one tournament, Norway proved they belong among the best teams on earth. And then the wait began. 28 years of watching other nations playing the tournament. So what changed? For years, Norway's problem wasn't talent, it was timing. Brilliant individual players kept arriving on their own, scattered across different eras, never overlapping at their peak. This generation overlaps. Haaland, 25 years old, one of the best strikers alive. Odegaard, 27, captain of the Champions League contender. At the exact same moment, both at their prime, both wearing the same shirt. Around them, a defense that conceded only 5 goals in 8 qualifying matches. Wingers like Antonio Nusa and Oscar Bob are having pace. A coach, Ståle Solbakken, who played for Norway at the '98 World Cup and spent his entire career trying to get back this country to the tournament he once played in himself. This isn't a team built around one superstar carrying everyone else, it's a complete team that happens to also have the best striker in the world. They have already secured their place in the knockout rounds, something Norway has never done on the first attempt. The sleeping giant of Scandinavian football isn't asleep anymore. The question now is how far this team can actually go, because while the headlines belong to Haaland and Odegaard, every successful World Cup run needs more than 2 stars. It needs players who don't get talked about as much. Take Fredrik Oshnes. He's not the loudest name in the squad, he's not the one scoring hat-tricks or grabbing global attention, but if you ask coach coaches, teammates or anyone who's played with him, they'll tell you the same thing. He makes everything work. Take Andreas Sheldrup. A few years ago, he was being talked about as one of the brightest young talents in Europe. Now, he's beginning to show why. In the left wing, confident in one-on-one situations. The kind of player who can change a knockout game with a single moment of quality. Then there's Christopher Azure. He's not going to score 30 goals or produce viral highlights. That's not his job. His job is making sure Norway stay in matches when the pressure rises, winning aerial duels, blocking shots, organizing the defense when everything starts moving too fast. And that's why Norwegian fans have a reason to believe this generation is different. Not because they have Haaland, everyone knows they have Haaland. It's because this is the deepest Norwegian squad in decades, a team with balance, experience in key positions, young players arriving at exactly the right time, and a group that no longer depends on one superstar to carry them through every match. Can they make a run that becomes part of Norwegian football history? Absolutely. And after waiting 28 years just to get back here, that's what makes this tournament so exciting. But there's another European nation with his own version of this story. A wait almost as long, a golden generation just as talented, and a history that is just as painful to talk about. If you want to know who that is, watch this next video. Thanks for listening and follow for more.